Fox 5 News at 10.
Back to our big story tonight. Prince George's County Executive Jack Johnson and his wife were arrested at their home today. Agents think Leslie Johnson flushed a $100,000 check down the toilet and tried to hide nearly $80,000 in cash in her underwear after investigators knocked on the couple's door. Now, she was just elected to the county council. Jack Johnson, of course, has 3 weeks left in his term as county executive.
Now, they are charged with witness and evidence tampering and destruction, alteration, and falsification of records in a federal investigation. Joining us now to talk about the charges against the Johnsons is former federal prosecutor Robert Bonsib. It sounds to me like the U.S. Attorney's Office didn't want to bring this case today, but Jack Johnson and Leslie Johnson sort of forced their hand, according to this affidavit, by hiding evidence and doing other things. Does that compromise the rest of this 2-year investigation and other people that may be arrested?
It's hard to say at this point. The affidavit indicates that there's been a wiretap in place for a substantial period of time. If that wiretap has captured every conversation that Mr. Johnson was engaged in, or most of them, there's a lot of people out there that are going to be very nervous. They're going to be wondering how their conversations, whether legitimate or otherwise, are going to be interpreted. It's going to take a while for that to sort itself out and for the investigators to figure out what to do. So I think this is going to go on for quite a while.
We heard the investigators say in the press conference today that anyone else out there who may have information about this to give us a call. How widespread do you think this may be when this eventually all plays out?
Well, it's hard to say. I think they're playing mind games with people out there. They're trying to make people nervous, and you know, it's a legitimate tactic on their part, and it's going to work with some people. It's hard to say how widespread this is going to be.
Is this really that murky of a line where you give a political donation to a candidate, I think ostensibly hoping to get some sort of favorable action in return, versus bribery, which is outright getting something for something? How murky is that line, and how easy is it to cross?
Well, it's very murky, and a lot of it has to do with how you view another person's intentions, and sometimes it's not possible to know that for certain. In this case, it may very well be that Mr. Johnson will take the position that any exchange of money was not a quid pro quo, but rather in the ordinary course of what constitutes normal political contributions. One of the things I think it's important to remember is the government gets the opportunity to first frame these issues. A lot of what they say at the beginning does not always shake out to be at the end what they said at the beginning. So this is a process where you've got to have a fight on both sides to really sort out what's real and what's not.
I think a lot of people right now in Prince George's County are stunned, and they're wondering, you know, what's next. From the federal prosecutor's side, where are they going next with this case?
Well, they're going to be talking to a lot of people, and they're going to be trying to convince people to cooperate if they think that they have information of wrongdoing, and how they sort that out, and whether they, what kind of pressure they put on people. It's a difficult process, and the process doesn't always produce reliable information. People under pressure will do a lot of things. Sometimes they'll cooperate and testify truthfully. Sometimes they will say what it is they need to say in order to gain some advantage for themselves.
So we could be, what, months, years from seeing an end of
I
this
think
one?
it's a number of months before this thing shakes out.
It's going to be a hectic holiday season for some in Prince George's County, that is
Yeah,
for
I think
sure.
So.
Former federal prosecutor Robert Bonsib, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for coming in.